In an interview on Fox News last night, President Trump said rogue federal judges should be impeached, and Trump is seeking to fire 2 Democratic members of the Federal Trade Commission. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says he plans to talk with President Trump today by phone. This comes after Trump spoke yesterday with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Russian leader says his country will agree to stop targeting Ukrainian energy facilities for 30 days. But Ukrainian officials say Russia is still firing drones at them, even hitting 2 hospitals overnight. NPR's Eleanor Beardsley says that the conversation between Trump and Putin has gotten Europe's attention.
This is deeply shaking the continent. There's a view that Putin is stalling so he can continue the war and that he's playing with Trump, who Europeans believe is naive, has no experience with Putin, and wants a peace deal so badly he'll do anything. The former French ambassador to the U.S. went on French TV last night, Gérard Araud, and he said Putin is just signing on to the peace deal not to annoy Trump, but he's testing the waters to see how far he can go. He says it's Putin's dream for Russia to be treated as a superpower, dealing one-on-one with the American president over the heads of the Europeans.
NPR's Eleanor Beardsley reporting. A federal judge has given the Justice Department until midday today to provide more details about deportation flights over the weekend. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg had told the Trump administration not to use a rarely used wartime power to deport the migrants from Venezuela. He even told the administration to turn the planes around. But that didn't happen. The Justice Department answered some questions about the flights yesterday, but Judge Boasberg says he wants more details today. President Trump told Fox's Laura Ingraham last night that some judges should be impeached.
We have very bad judges, and these are judges that shouldn't be allowed. I think at a certain point you have to start looking at what do you do when you have a rogue judge.
The Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, issued a rare statement yesterday. He says that for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreements over a judicial decision. Roberts says the appeals process is the place for that. A federal judge has ruled billionaire Elon Musk and his cost-cutting entity Doge likely violated the U.S. Constitution when they started dismantling the U.S. Agency for International Development. Several fired workers it sued. NPR's Fatma Tanis says the judge found that Musk and his allies acted improperly.
He said that the evidence showed that, quote, Musk made the decisions to shut down USAID's headquarters and website, even though he lacked the authority to make that decision. He said that Musk and Doge team members likely violated the Constitution in multiple ways and deprived Congress of its authority to decide what to do with an agency that it created.
NPR's Fatma Tanis. President Trump is seeking to fire 2 Democratic members of the Federal Trade Commission. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the move could prove to be a key test of Trump's powers over independent government agencies.
The 2 commissioners, Alvaro Bedoya and Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, have promised to fight their dismissal in court. They say under current law they can only be removed for cause. Bedoya accuses the president of trying to turn the FTC, which enforces antitrust law, into a lapdog for his rich golfing buddies.
If you take away the independence of this agency, the only people it will help is the powerful. The only people it will help are billionaires.
The FTC's Republican chairman, Andrew Ferguson, says he has no doubt about the president's constitutional authority to fire commissioners. Ferguson says the commission will continue its work to protect consumers and police anti-competitive behavior.
NPR's Scott Horsley. Israel's prime minister says any further talks for a new ceasefire deal with Hamas will only take place under fire. More than 400 people were killed in Israeli airstrikes yesterday. NPR's Aya Batrawi reports hospital records show 60% of them were women and children.
Israel's offensive, dubbed Operation Strength and Sword, began with targeted strikes killing several mid-level and senior Hamas officials. The attacks shatter a weeks-long ceasefire after talks to free Israeli hostages and permanently end the war hit an impasse. Hospitals in Gaza report that more than 170 of those killed in Israel's initial wave of bombardment have been children. It comes as hospitals are partially functioning or destroyed in Gaza, and as Israel continues to block the entry of fuel, food, medicine, and other basic goods that Gaza's 2 million people rely on for survival. Hamas says it remains committed to the initial ceasefire agreement that was supposed to lead to a lasting truce. Israel's defense minister says Hamas must understand, quote, the rules of the game have changed. Aya Batrawi, NPR News.
This is NPR.